Hello everybody and welcome back to the Catch World Cup. I am Sekray and I'm going to be joined by Tofu Daddy for today's cast. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We got potentially the most exciting match of the weekend, Canada-Chile. It's certainly the one I've been looking forward to the most as far as even from round of 32, I saw this on the potential match list in quarterfinals, and I was really excited to see where this is going to go, and I'm glad we get to see it now.
Yeah, these two teams, seed partners, seed number 4 and seed number 5, and these are also two teams that I think a majority of people had these two teams in the podium somewhere, at least one of the two in the podium this year.
Yeah, but meeting up here means one of them is going to have a little bit more of a challenging journey to get there, not to mention a few other seeds ahead of them in that 1, 2, and 3 spot. But for now, we're going to worry about which of these teams is going to move on to the winter semis, which one is going to be knocked into the losers bracket going to the semifinals weekend. And we'll be starting with the roles and bans, which I don't know if we've seen the roles yet.
Yeah, it seems like we haven't, so hopefully we get those things right out of the gate here. I think for Team Chile, don't know what they're going to ban. I know they're probably going to focus on DT as in terms of picks, but ban maybe something like Nomad 3, but again, Chile has a really good Nomad 3 roster. Maybe they could do something like Hidden 1 if they're not feeling on Hidden 1, but again, they have a really good Hidden 1 roster, so it's always kind of what do you want to do with these two teams. They're so neck and neck that you can't really find something that is a weakness straight off the bat unless you have that insider knowledge, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm thinking if I'm in Chile's shoes, Nomad 1 is getting closer and closer to what we were seeing in at least qualifiers. I think if not already there, it's slightly easier, I think, than the qualifier Nomad 1 that we had, but it's getting away from that or not aim consistency, but spacing consistency and more into the streams and all that kind of stuff. And Canada had the number 1 score on that in qualifiers and has shown to have a very strong Nomad 1 roster. Could definitely see that coming out as a ban, but like you said, I think as far as these two teams are concerned, I don't think there's a specific weakness between the two that we're going to be seeing too much. It's just really about comfort and what the teams are expecting out of their opponents.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could see something like a Hard Rock 2 ban from Chile. Could be also pretty good. Canada, on the other hand, maybe they end up going with a lower AR hidden ban. I know they had a little bit of a struggle last week, and they've moved away from being as good of a low AR hidden team, especially with the loss of Henrik. So maybe that could be on the board, because Chile is, of course, one of the best low AR hidden teams in the tournament, I'd say. Especially with Lechu, their captain, being, I'd say, one of the best and oldest hidden players around.
Definitely could be a possibility. If I would have expected closer to around the DT pool being banned out by Canada, but because like you mentioned, I think Chile is going to feel pretty comfortable around that DT zone, so I wouldn't put it past them to want to get just rid of one of those. Prototype seems like it could be an easy ban for a team when you're going up against a team like Chile.
Yeah, the thing is, Canada is also just really good at the DT, especially if Fuhi has practiced it. If you get Fuhi and Unlucky W on our roster, it's looking really scary. Especially with Deus Machina. If Deus Machina plays some maps on the DTs, it could get so close on the DTs, even though I think the DT is probably the hardest pool overall this week.
Yeah, for sure. We do see the rolls come through, and it looks like Canada is going to win and take that second pick. I believe that means that they're banning first then. So we'll see Team Canada's ban coming out first and then Team Chile. But DT1 locked and loaded, getting rid of the high AR DT that was the 10.3, I believe. So maybe a little bit of reading discomfort on top of Chile being pretty good at DT anyways. So staying in that pool.
I mean, that one just has to be kind of paying respects to just how good Chile must be at, playing AR and ITD. I mean, they have Bristol, one of the best reading players in the game. And then they also have Stark, who's just been getting so good at the DT and pretty much everything recently. It's just really tough for anyone to keep up with that. They are going to be banning Hard Rock 1 from Chile. Not too surprising. considering Canada has done decently on Hard Rock so far.
Yeah, last round they actually had the number 1, number 2, number 3 scores on Hard Rock 1, 2, and 3 from the round of 16 pool. So definitely paying the respects to that Hard Rock ability. And Chile is going to get the first pick here. You mentioned that Canada was a little bit weak on the hidden 2 on the low AR hidden last week, so I could see that coming out. But if I was in Chile's shoes, probably sticking with I'd probably just go DT3 off the rip.
Yeah, you could do that. Really, any of the DTs or the hiddens, or even Nomad 4. Nomad 4 is a bit of a spicier one, but Nomad 4 could do really well for Chile. They have some of the best convert players as well, especially on a jumpier convert like this. Erasil is pretty much a guaranteed full combo on this kind of map.
I see a roll 2. I hope that's not
that means they're choosing.
And Mixed Mod 1 comes out. Actually, I'm realizing that Chile has been very interested in picking Mixed Mods through this tournament. In both rounds, I think they first picked Mixed Mod.
I mean, they do have a really good Mixed Mod roster, but the thing is, compared to Canada, it feels like this is also one of the maps that Canada can compete super well on, compared to some of the other ones, potentially.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's an interesting pick, because this Mixed Mod isn't necessarily difficult on the mods. The hidden and hard rock requirements are not as heavy as something like Mixed Mod 2 would require, where the circle size is a little higher and the AR is a little lower, but this should be a little bit more comfortable for pretty much everyone. So it's like in that safer zone, but in a matchup when you're the seed 5 versus the seed 4, it's very scary to go into like safe picks.
Yeah, it's all about mechanics, except for the fact that these two teams are pretty much as good mechanically as you can get on a pool like this. Nobody is getting skill issued on any of these maps, and none this team. You know, even the worst player on both of these teams has the ability to FC pretty much every map in its pool, I think. Except for maybe Hidden 1. That map is like beyond me.
Hidden 1 is crazy.
And we're not playing Hidden 1 yet.
We're not worrying about that yet. So, Mixed Mod 1, we see Erasil, Stark, and Smucker in Chile. I expect that's Erasil, Hard Rock, Stark, Hidden, Smucker, no mod.
I think so too.
We got Katsuragi and Unlucky W.
Hard Rock.
Okay, there's Solaris Hard Rock. Yeah, Katsuragi Hidden and Unlucky W sticking with the no mod. Or someone else from Canada swapping in for Unlucky. We got Red Stick. Actually, that means Katsuragi might be a no mod if Red is coming in.
If Red's in, that's probably Red on Hidden. Which I'm surprised. I would have thought that Unlucky W would have been the choice for Hidden on something like this.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting too, but throwing things in for a little bit of throwing things for a loop a little bit right out the gate. But this was Chile's pick, so they're going to be a little more comfortable on it. So I'm not surprised potentially to see some, maybe unexpected happenings on the Canadian team. But one way or another, we are. Looks like these teams are locking themselves in. See the good luck, have fun coming through, and we'll just have to see if we were correct on the mods.
Yeah, see, the thing is, for me, as somebody who's been around for so long, it feels so weird seeing Chile and seeing Stark and Smucker in instead of Pekarat and Lechu or something like this, because usually when you think of Chile over the past, 5 years, you always think, oh, Erasil, Pekarat, and Lechu, they're going to be playing in the mixed mod, and it's going to be perfectly fine. Erasil, Hard Rock, Lechu Hidden, and then you put Pekarat on, no mod or something. But no, this is the new generation of Chile. Stark and Smucker, they've been definitely proving themselves to be pretty much suitable replacements for Pekarat and Lechu, even though they're still on the roster. Something like this, a lot more mechanical, fits them so well.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Katsuragi actually sticking with the Hidden, Red coming in to take that no mod slot for Canada, so an interesting choice there. But like we said, this map is definitely the safer of the two mixed mods. So I'm not surprised if they have, you could put a lot of players in on the no mod for this.
You could have put anyone on the no mod. It's really about who's feeling confident on the no mod slot for this map. If one of your players says, I want to play this, let them play it, That's the kind of thing with these two teams.
This map definitely one of those maps where having that consistency is going to help. Two misses right out the gate. The Hard Rock and the Hidden's trading off Stark and Solaris there, both basically at the same time as we hit 200 combo, so it's going to trade off the scores. It's going to be roughly even.
Super slight advantage Canada, if anything. Which I mean, given these two teams, you never know what's gonna happen in the future. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, it looks
About
like that's
2,000.
actually. Yeah, it looks like those 2,000 points actually come from a little bit of a cleaner drop coming out of Solaris on the Hard Rock there,
Yeah.
because the accuracy advantage is actually in Chile's advantage. 2 double S's there. Looks like Katsuragi actually finding a couple drop misses in the intro, but that's not going to be enough to give Chile the lead with the messier drop there as we get into the second third here.
Yeah, in this part, you can definitely see some of the misses coming out on this part. Not surprising at all, considering some of the snaps in this. Especially the stream, we see Smucker on the bottom right missing. Gonna swing the cheat lead even further in Canada's favor on this so far.
Yeah, the Wiggles catching them off guard. About 27,000 points of difference as Smucker tries to build back up as we get out of that 1/3 section and get into this chorus where I think things seem to calm down as far as like snappy rhythms, but a little denser here. That lead from Canada actually increasing now with another drop from Stark there as no one from the Canadian side drops, and Aristiel the only full combo left on the side of Chile. Katsuragi trades that miss back though, so both hidden players down for the time being, but one full combo apiece. It's just the difference between Solaris right now and Stark not being able to hold on to the combo with Solaris.
Start getting some unfortunate misses. Red CXA still holding the full combo for Canada. Aristiel on the Hard Rock for Chile. And there's so many breaks in this map. They each know how far ahead or how far behind each player is pretty much every single one of these breaks. So right now Canada knows they're behind a bit. Aristiel, or Canada knows they're ahead a bit. Aristiel gets another miss, only going to increase that lead even further.
Yeah, the low density section catching Aristiel on the Hard Rock off guard a little bit. Solaris holding on through it still with that 900 combo. Red still holding on to the full combo, and this looking like an early misstep for Chile out the gate. No, not too many difficult patterns left in this map, and it's going to take like 4 or 5 misses of this, I think, to even get them a chance. That is 2 of them right there.
Wait, that
so
might
I'm
be
not going to speak too
enough.
soon.
Getting close. They need one more miss with the amount of map left.
Oh, there is another miss, but that was not the one they needed. I think they need Solaris to miss there. But
I think if that map was like a little bit longer, it might have swapped over, but not too bad, honestly, all things considered. 2 decent team scores between the two, so it wasn't as big of a misstep for Chile at least, but more so these two teams are just that good, where every single pick I think is going to be like within the margin of 2 misses between these two teams.
And an immediate Nomad 2 selection. Not too surprising. I mentioned that Nomad 1 might be a good band option for Chile, and Canada sticking with the Nomad specifics really kind of makes sense. And I think out of the Nomads, this might be the most straightforward. Well, no, Nomad 1 is probably more straightforward, but it's more risky, I think, in a matchup like this than Nomad 2 would be.
Yeah, I mean, both Nomad 1 and Nomad 2 on this kind of matchup is just, you're just flipping a coin, honestly, in my opinion, if you're playing these two maps. I think Chile is definitely a weaker Nomad team than Canada. That is Chile's one kind of real weakness, is they're not really the best, like, Nomad team, just straight up. They're not super mechanical players compared to some of the other teams, but it's still too easy to be able to take advantage of that Nomad weakness. Usually you'd see that Nomad weakness come into play in the finals, grand finals weekend, where you get really hard Nomad maps, but now it's just, you're just playing a 6-star map, so everybody can FC it. It's all about consistency at this point.
Yeah, consistency getting through some of the trickier patterns throughout this map. There are some very difficult patterns that I could see pretty much anyone missing on on just a bad run. We do see a couple swap-ins, Dewey and Unlucky W coming in for the side of Canada, and then Damien coming in for the side of Chile.
Yeah, pretty much expected rosters, I think, from both of these teams. Only thing I'm a little surprised about myself is Katsuragi is in instead of Solaris. I think Solaris is a little bit better on this kind of map, but feel free to prove me wrong. I will gladly be proven wrong.
We've already seen Red come in for the Nomad slot of the hidden, on that mixed mod selection and pulled off the full combo. So
yeah,
had some weirdness coming out already compared to our expectations, but come through the intro. No mate. Well,
Oh,
every time I say that, someone drops. Fuhi finding an early drop gives an early lead to Chile. Kind of mirroring what we saw, but Famine trades that back a little bit later, and that's actually going to favor Canada because we were before the 200 combo and Famine dropped it later.
yeah. It's a bit surprising, actually, to see 2 misses this early from these 2 teams. Usually, you'd expect teams to get at least to that part and then miss, but everybody hitting that, coming out fine. Just some little early intro misses from the 2 people who actually weren't playing the previous maps. Maybe some nerves just getting in, not fully warm. Katsuragi does get another miss for Canada, so it's going to soon lead into Chile's favor.
Yeah, quite quickly too, we have the double S coming from the Chilean side as well. Unlucky W finishing off last full combo for Canada gone now, and Chile looking very strong on the Canadian pick, and already out of the gate it's looking like Chile might be able to take this breakpoint right back. Unlucky with another miss, as we still have the 2 double S's from Mauricio and Smooker there.
Yeah, unlucky not having the best of times on this one, and I mean, hey, if they're just gonna keep trading breakpoints, I mean, I'm all for it. This is gonna be an interesting match, and honestly, these 2 teams, they're so evenly matched that trading breakpoints is something that you could expect so easily, especially considering their skill sets. You can't really take advantage of it. Something like in the Argentina-Poland match, where those 2 teams are pretty much opposite in their skill sets. These 2 teams, while there is a little bit of a gap in their skill sets, it's too early to be able to take advantage of any gaps.
Yeah, Katsuragi finding another drop. All 3 players from Chile finding huge combos, all hitting now 1,000. Fui, the only one on the Canadian team, hitting that 4-digit combo now. And that lead has ballooned to almost 120,000 now. That's, I think, 5 misses, and the only team missing right now is Canada. Faming does trade that miss from Unlucky W. Finds a little issue, but we're so close to the end, I don't think it's even going to matter.
It's already over. Smucker pulling out the SS towards the end. Only unfortunate misses at the end for Tamian and RCL, but I mean, still super well played to the Chileans on this one. Taking back the breakpoint, making it 1-1.
Yeah, so the comfort picks actually backfired for both teams. Chile liking those mixed mods, but getting a little bit caught up with some misses on those mods, and Canada just not being able to defend the no mod. It's already starting to feel like we're going to delve into these 2 teams selecting things that they're not necessarily planning to, but we still have a lot of mod pools open. Chile still has the DT pool open. They've got DT2 and DT3 that they can go with after already seeing Canada ban out DT1, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them move away from mixed mod into that. Or having just won a no mod, they could go for that convert skill that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. See, the thing is, with picking DT for Chile, you got a bit of a problem. Number 1 problem is DT2 Canada. You can't pick DT2 against Canada. It's just
can't do it.
It's just how it is. Canada went DT2. You can't do it. They'll end up somehow performing really well on it because it's Canada. And the thing is, you look at DT3, it's mapped by a Canadian as well. So it's like you just can't do it. Sorry, Chile, you can't do it.
That was
even though they're probably going to do it right.
Clearly the strategy for banning DT1 from Canada is because they have an advantage on both of the other DTs.
It's like they know.
But one way or another, we're going to see a pick from Chile. We could see the HDT coming out. We mentioned that before, Nomad 4 having an opportunity. I think Chile also has a quite strong Hard Rock roster, despite having banned Hard Rock 1. I could see them going in that direction, but Nomad 3 actually comes out, so sticking with the Nomad specifics, this time the more gimmicky low AR Nomad. This map
and they're
is
picking
tough.
the Canadian map too. There's so many Canadian mappers in this, actually. I just realized. Yoshi and Connor. Even though Connor is a fake Canadian.
It's alright. We can call him Canadian.
He's American. I'm gonna call him American. I know he's watching.
He's got the Canada flag. It's fine.
Yeah, sure. Anyways, going into this one, I think this is a pretty good pick for Chile overall. It really depends on who Canada puts in for this. Is Canada gonna put in Fuhi, who might not be as good at the lower AR, but is definitely one of their best players overall? Or are they gonna put in somebody else, maybe Red, who is better at the low AR, but might not be as mechanically good as Fuhi on something like this? It's gonna be a tough question.
We actually saw both Fuhi and Red in on the low AR no mod selection from last week, so that could be a possibility. I would probably expect Red to be in on a map like this. And we see Chile actually getting their players in quite quickly. Start. I believe this is the same team we just saw.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, switching back from the previous pick into something like this, sometimes a lot of players like to get into the playing and see it a little bit, like go in 100 combo and try out the map, because it is definitely very different than the previous map.
Yeah, going from AR 9.6 or even like anything higher than the 9.2 we have here into a more low AR kind of mode. Definitely just, getting the first few seconds to understand the approach rate is probably something advisable for the players.
You see Fuhi coming in for the side of Canada on this one. Stark came in and Smucker in for Chile. No surprises at all on these rosters, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything too surprising. See the start command, we're going in. Unlucky W coming in for Nomad as well. So we're going to see the I think this is the expected Nomad roster for Canada on most picks. And then Stark, Tamien, and Smucker, kind of the normal Nomad squad we've been seeing.
I think usually you'd see Solaris instead of Katsuragi, potentially, on a higher AR. But on something like this is pretty much Katsuragi's home, where he's a lot better on this kind of more funky technical stuff.
Not the gate no misses, but we do see a couple droplet misses from Unlucky W down to the 98%, giving a 4,000 point lead to Chile. But this map, I think, is so easy to miss on. I would be surprised to see a three-way on something like this.
Yeah, actually, Unlucky missed super early, like within the first 10 combo, but it is going to be the second miss from Stark and Tamien, actually. Big advantage from Canada so far into this.
Yeah, that's actually a full combo break from Chile. That's all three players without the full combos now. Katsuragi and Fui holding on to the 2-4 Canada here. And again, starting off similar to what we saw in the last two picks, where more breakpoints are possible. Fui and Katsuragi looks like
only one person.
Wow.
Yeah, those doubles are really, really, really brutal. I know Connor is sitting right now. He's saying, "Oh, Unlucky hit them. Thank you. At least one Canadian hit them." Everybody on Chile breaking on those doubles.
Yeah, I believe there's another set of them later in the map too.
I don't think so. Those ones were definitely harder, if not, than the latter ones.
Potentially. This map might just be going way quicker than I thought it would be.
Yeah, this map's already 100,000 point lead for Canada. I mean, looking like another break point already in this match.
Yeah, everyone's actually recovering now, though. Smoker, as soon as they hit 200 combo, finding a break, though. Only going to help Canada maintain that lead. Start finding another drop. Just one combo to all three on the Canadian team. Staying steady at all above 300 combo. Yeah, that one's not too bad. That one's definitely not as hard as the first set of doubles. Unlucky W finding a break, but Fuhi and Katsuragi, just like the beginning, finding some rhythm and holding onto the combo very strong. And now almost 200,000 points of difference, and this is looking very difficult to come back from for Chile. And we might be seeing a third break point out of 3 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, these two teams are just this good where you don't really have comfort picks. It doesn't matter what you pick, the other team can play it, and they can play it well. And I mean, even though you see 225,000, you're like, wow, that's a bit of a stomp. Sometimes on maps like this, all it takes is just unlucky misses, right? And having a good run like Canada is doing. Because, I mean, they all have insane scores. 1 miss, 2 miss, 2 miss, pretty much, from
in a map like Nomad 3, like, this is so easy to let nerves just take over and cause so many misses, because there's so many hyper dashes that are just very precise, and the moment you kind of like overextend on one, you're missing 8 notes in a row. And if you're nervous, that's gonna be exemplified. Like, that's gonna be way worse for you than normal.
Moving on to Canada's next pick. Maybe they pick something that they think Chile is going to be good at, so that way they don't keep the breakpoint streak coming on.
They gotta find something. They've won a Nomad, they've lost a Nomad. Nomad 1's still open, though we expected Nomad 2 to kind of be in Canada's favor as well. We've got the
Nomad 1 is coin flip.
They won Mixed Mod 1, but Mixed Mod 2 is a lot tougher to make that decision. Low AR, a bit of a higher CS. kind of difficult on the mod side of things, and not the most comfortable map to just be picking. Plus the low max combo, like 660, that is brutal for misses.
I think if you're Canada, the last thing you want to do is pick Mixed Mod 2, because I think he gets all of Chile's best players in the lobby easily. You get Electric Wind and you get Aristiel, and no matter what you do, if you pick Mixed Mod 2. The other thing is, you don't want to go No Mod 1. No Mod 1, it's just going to be 6 FCs. We saw it earlier today where it was Poland and Argentina, and we saw 5 FCs on that in a Tunis. You know, that's what happens if you pick No Mod 1. You're just gonna get FCs. You do see them going into Hard Rock 2 though. This one, I think it makes a lot of sense compared to
I think it does too. I think like when we're talking, if we're looking at like qualifier scores, Canada didn't do great on the Hard Rock 2 from qualifiers, which is probably the most comparable map in terms of difficulty that we've seen so far this pool. But last week they did get number 1 on the Hard Rock 2, so their precision was showing very strong. I could definitely see them performing well, though. I mentioned earlier as well, Chile has an extremely strong Hard Rock roster, and that is going to be very difficult to overcome, even with that number 1 score on Hard Rock 2 last week.
Yeah, something like this is pretty much Aristiel's playground, where he's one of the best precision players that are in the game right now. He's going to be really strong, and this is really up to the 2 other members on Chile to see how well they can do to keep up with him on this. Seems like it's going to be Stark and Smucker, which definitely makes the most sense, I'd say, for something like this.
Yeah, they're asking for Stark to be moved in, so it makes sense. Solaris and Unlucky, I think, makes sense keeping in. I think Fuhi would probably be the next person coming in for Canada. Maybe Dea. I could see Dea Knarkma coming in for this too.
I think so, but probably going to be Fuhi, like you first mentioned. I can see that guy. He's probably playing it right now. Seeing like, alright, yeah, I got this. I can definitely see him doing that.
Yeah, and this map also, comparatively to a lot of the precision we've seen, especially like early on, it's not low density as some of the precision picks we've seen earlier in the tournament are. So there isn't too much difficulty in terms of like a heavy practice needed, and the actual like patterns themselves are very straightforward. It's just a matter of having the precision down.
Yeah, for sure. Very vertical focused on this map.
And we got the MP start command. We've got the players starting on Lucky W, Fuhi, and Solaris for Canada as expected. Aristiel, Stark, and Spooker also as expected for Chile. And Canada looking to get the first own point of the match, 3 breakpoints in a row. Chile trying to keep the breakpoint train rolling. And, I mean, they've got the right squad to do it. This is certainly possible. It looks like we actually may have had an early drop from Stark there.
And Aristiel.
Yeah, so 2 early drops from Chile, maybe not ready for that opening stream there. So 12,000 points in favor of Canada, but that's the best place to drop at all. You're going to get up to that 200-pound bow right around the same time as everyone else. And now misses, if they start coming out, are going to be much more impactful.
Yeah, Smucker being the first one to miss, followed up by Aristiel and Fuhi and Solaris. So pretty much little even small advantage for Canada here, about 1 miss difference, maybe about half a miss actually. That Mr. Smucker's gonna
continue to find drops there. Unlucky W. The only player left with the full combo is Stark having dropped in that early section. We get out of this.
Nobody miss. Don't miss on the small part. Stay in the center.
Don't.
Aristiel, no!
Okay, that's going to increase the lead for Canada as we get into more difficult patterns. And the big combo from Chile also drops, but Unlucky W does trade that back, though Fuhi and Solaris both at the 200. No players from Chile matching up with that, and this is looking like a very strong pick from Canada. We're going to more than likely see the first own point here as we hit the final quarter with 175,000 points of advantage for Canada.
Yeah, it's just, you can't come back with this amount of map left from 200,000 points. They need pretty much a disaster for the side of Canada, but it's looking like it's not going to happen. Solaris and Unlucky W holding down pretty big combos. And that is going to be the end of the map coming up here. Canada actually taking their own point. No more breakpoints in the match. And it's going to be 3-1 favorite Canada. Chile's pick.
is on Chile's pick. They're gonna have to find something that works. They still haven't touched the DT pool, even though we've kind of mentioned it a few times. There's a little bit of superstition around it, but I still think DT kind of should be the move. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm making a decision for Chile, I'm going into the DT pool.
I think either DT or Nomad 4 would be pretty fine picks for Chile. You see Lechu coming in, actually, so maybe they go Mixed Mod 2?
Yeah, Mixed Mod 2 could be possible, or they're going hidden. Yeah. Definitely difficult to make a decision one way or another. We've already seen picks go back and forth pretty evenly. That Hard Rock 2 definitely probably going to stop them from going for anything like Hard Rock 3, and Hidden 2 does come out looking at Chile, potentially looking at Canada's weakness from last week on the low AR Hidden pick, and seeing if they're going to be able to pull it out. I expect the low AR team for Chile should be Luce and
It should be
Fabian.
Lechu, Taemin, Stark, I think.
That's what I would
Or actually,
guess.
maybe Smucker. Really, like, they could honestly put anyone. They could put Pekka in. He's been a very good hidden player. It depends if he has a good PC right now or not. I know that's one reason why he's not been playing as much. But we do see Taemin, we do see Lechu. Probably going to be Stark. There he is, yep.
Yeah, Team Canada, I'm expecting Katsuragi and Red to come in here to join Unlock the W.
It should be those two. If they're feeling really spicy, they put in Fuhi, but I know they're not doing that.
Unless the dream is true.
If they put in Fuhi on this, I don't know what to say, man. But I'd like it. It'd be pretty funny.
But no, Red's gonna come in. We got the expected teams for this low AR hidden pick. That, all things considered, last week Canada didn't perform super well. Chile also did not perform super well on this last week. They actually did worse than Canada's hidden 2 score in the round of 16 pool. But with the pool's getting harder, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it also is more telling that Canada had a little bit of a weaker performance than when Chile kind of, maybe stood up to what their expectations were, when hidden might not be their strongest mod in general.
The thing is that last week's map was so easy compared to this week's that you can't really even compare the two, honestly. I think this is probably closer to... Honestly, it's harder than qualifiers, maybe even, so... Can't even really compare the hidden picks of the 2 weeks. Going into this, no super early breaks from the teams. Actually, there is going to be one from Taemin in the top right.
And Stark is going to match that. So 2 misses from Chile. They did pick this. Looking like both of their other picks as well, where Canada got into an early lead from some early drops. And, against stereotypes, this hidden 2 pretty dense with the combo, already well above 200 combo. All 3 players from Canada holding on, and Taemin finds another break, but actually the only player to hold on to that combo. Stark trying to build up to that 200 and about to make it, but they're going to need Taemin to also get there, and for Canada to start dropping. But that's the last combo from Chile drop, with all 3 still standing for Canada.
This isn't looking good at all for Chile here. Another 2 miss from Chile, only 1 traded this time from Canada. They're already up 200,000.
That's another one from Canada. Katsuragi does miss. Red still holding on to the full combo though, and definitely helping keep that lead. We are already halfway through with a 170,000 point lead, but there's still enough time if we start to see players fall apart. Maybe does recover, gets above 300 combo. Both of the other Chilean players now about to hit that 200 combo mark and can start digging into this lead a little bit, with Katsuragi still a little bit behind, but they're going to need to hope for a few more drops in this.
They need like 4 drops within this last 1/3, and they need a FC, pretty much rest, and hope for drops. This is going to be really, really tough.
does get a little tougher here at the end. We got that nasty burst that only catches Stark there, and that's only going to help Canada retain their lead. And it's looking like it might be too late for anything. That miss from Unlucky W going to help a little bit. Katsuragi trading one back, so that's 2 combos to just 1, but they're going to need a lot more than that. Red matching it as well, but there's so few notes left in this.
Yeah,
I don't think it's happening.
And that's going to be another point for Canada. Break point for Canada, making it 4-1. Red CXA, a huge performance from them. Pretty much completely turnaround from last week. Had a huge performance today on this Hidden 2. Also had a really good performance on the Mixed Mod 1. So I know they're definitely feeling a lot better than they were last week, that's for sure. So huge props to them.
Definitely are, and it's back in Canada's court. They still got a few maps that should be relatively comfortable. I think sticking with the hidden pool could be definitely a strong suit. They could go Hard Rock 3 as well. I'd probably steer clear of No Mod and DT, and that Mixed Mod 2 I think is just too risky. So I think it's either a hidden map or Hard Rock 3.
I think Hard Rock 3 probably too easy of a map for Canada to want to actually go into. It's really hard at this point to find good picks for honestly either team, especially considering the fact that Canada just won the lower air hidden. So it's like, what do you really do? You don't want to go into No Mod 1 or Hard Rock 3 because they're kind of coin flippy. Don't really want to go into No Mod 4 or Jump Map versus Ratio. That doesn't sound very pleasant. Hidden 1, maybe an option, honestly. I know some of the players in Canada are a lot better at that kind of stuff than the average player. But again, that map is also just so hard.
They could also go Superstition and pick DT2, even though I don't think that's a good pick. But they'll find a way to win it.
Come on, you know you want to pick DT2. Canada win DT2, come on.
It looks like they're having as much trouble deciding on a pick as we are trying to figure out what they want to do. Hard Rock 3 does come out a little on the easy side, but still they've managed to take Hard Rock 2 pretty convincingly. So Hard Rock 3 not too surprising of a pick. Seeing players swap out, look like Beanie is going to be replaced there on the Flame squad.
Yeah.
Not totally sure who I expect to come in there, actually. Maybe Smoker. Smoker's was the one to play Hard Rock 2.
Yeah, probably Stark, I think, would be coming in for Chile on this. Actually, Taemin also works for this, I think.
Yeah, maybe you swapped out to get used to the AR. Going from low AR to Hard Rock can be a difficult transition.
Canada has surely got to be Fui coming in on that last slot. Surely got to be Fui.
Surely.
See, Arvicio stepped out. I know he's coming back in. Don't you dare bait me.
There's Fui. And Katsuragi jumping in at the same time, but it's going to be Fui taking the last slot on Canada.
Yeah, there's Arvicio back. Expected roster from both sides.
Oh, Smoker maybe swapping out for Star. No, it looks like we're just swapping seats around.
Oh man, I knew he was doing that.
Arista can reap is trying to mess with you. Alright, looks like everyone's now ready to go. We got the MP start command, so we're gonna get into Hard Rock 3 Mecha and Moon.
Guy's got the stream open in match. Okay, surely he won't have it open when he's playing the map, so he can't hear me right now, so
surely
don't
he's
miss.
Not listening to us.
Yeah, surely he's not listening while he's actually playing the map, right? Right? Yeah.
Hopefully not. I wouldn't want the distraction to hit them, but we got this. A little bit of a longer map, 2 minutes and 49 seconds, and there is quite a long middle section of this that's a little bit easier than the rest, or at least less dense. Hard Rock doesn't necessarily make that easier, but there is a lot to focus on, a little bit more practice required to, be consistent at this than something like Hard Rock 2.
Yeah.
First stack doesn't catch anyone off guard. We do see a little bit of a drop in this from Smokey there, but everyone hits the 200 combo at the same time. Unlucky W, unfortunate timing there, misses right after the 200 combo, and that's going to be max combo reduction there, and that's going to give Chile a nice advantage to start out with this.
Yeah, it's also really unfortunate because usually you'd see this is the part where people could probably get some misses starting about here. So I guess you could say that's pretty unlucky W from Unlucky W. Smoker does trade it.
That is a miss. But Unlucky W trades it right back, so that's going to be a net positive for Chile. It's just a trade with them in the lead, though 23,000 points in favor of Chile. Everyone can see that. Just the two misses so far, the two players breaking the entire bottom row, holding on to the full combos. Only a couple drop misses from Damien, but 3 double S's otherwise, 2 from Canada, 1 from Chile. And this is looking like a very close. We're looking back to the beginning of this match when we were seeing such close break points.
Yeah, I mean, that was also the problem with this map in particular as a pick. It's so easy for a lot of these players that you see. We have 4 FCs so far still, and we're only got 1/3 of the map left.
Into the less dense middle section here. No major errors happening. Everyone above 200 combo, and that 26,000 point lead for Chile is going to stay intact, but Smooker is going to find a drop, and that's going to be the second drop there from Smooker. So it's 2 misses on 1 player for each team, and this is going to be almost dead even, but Foodie trades it, and that's 2 full combos for 1 now, and Chile going to take advantage. Hold on to the lead for now.
2 more drops as well from Canada, so it's going to be even more than a 1 miss lead going into the last little sliver of the map here. Still 3 FCs from the bottom players.
And Unlucky W continuing to find drop. It's going to help Chile expand this lead now to 70,000. It looks like about 3 misses of difference now. Damien does trade one of those back, so it's going to be helpful, but both the other 2 players on Chile built up to 200 as we hit the end, and that's going to be a 60,000 point victory for Team Chile, and that's another break point. We've only had 1 regular point so far.
Yeah, I mean, this is just pretty much what you expect, especially out of Hard Rock 3, is these teams are so good that getting a win on this map is kind of up to RNG. You see Unlucky in his chat says, that's my worst score. It's like, yeah, you just low rolled. It's like unfortunate. You can't really go into these maps and expecting a huge advantage because your opponent is going to be able to do just as well as you are, if not pretty much the same thing. So kind of just tossing a coin with these kind of picks, especially with these 2 juggernaut teams, Seed 4 and Seed 5, by the way. That's the main thing about it. You can't really look for advantages on maps like that. It's so hard. Chile here.
It feels weird because it feels like Canada has. It feels like so far Canada has had a general advantage on a few of the maps, but Chile feels like they have more comfortable picks that they just haven't gone for.
Definitely feels that way a bit. I mean, I can see Nomad 4 still up for Chile, but against Canada, that's a hard pick. See, the DTs, of course, Chile has an amazing DT roster, but then you're picking DT into Canada, which is also just really tough. I think they have to go with the DT. Whether it's DT2 or 3, hidden one. I need to retire, I guess.
Pick. I don't think I like this pick very much from Team Chile. They're avoiding DT for some reason, and I'm not totally certain why.
Yeah, I don't know.
But this one, a little easier on the reading as far as hidden picks go versus hidden 2. But Still, I do think this is the hardest hidden pick to score on. The spacing of a bunch of the swing patterns is a lot more difficult than it looks.
Yeah, I mean, this map, by far, the hardest map in the pool. So, I mean, if you're picking this, you know that you're better than your opponent, pretty much. This is what you're doing when you pick this. This is like the ultimate ego pick of this round, where it's the hardest map in the pool, by far. So you have to feel really confident on your ability to play this.
It's also possible that Chile is just trying to avoid things that are more coin flippy than, because with it being as difficult as it is, looking at something like the DT pool or Nomad 4, those definitely feel closer to what you call a coin flip. In this matchup, especially having seen 5 out of 6 break points, going for something that's a little out of the ordinary, maybe not an expected pick, but something that's not going to be as coin flippy, and if you're confident on it, it's definitely not going to feel as coin flippy. Just going for it and kind of changing up the motion of the match.
Something that I didn't really think about is I saw Aricio in there, and honestly, Aricio on this map could be pretty, like, it could be low-key an MVP play if you have Aricio on this map. Because I know he's really good at these jumpy kind of things where it's really far spacing and reading it. He's not the best hitting player, but this kind of map on a base, if you think about it really tough, it's really good for Aricio, even though he's not really the hidden player for Chile.
We do see Aricio staying in, though. We also see Canada with a little bit of an unexpected squad. Red not actually coming in, Fuhi coming in instead, along with Unlucky and Katsuragi.
It's so mechanically hard that you put players like Fuhi and Aricio in on this because your regular hidden players can't really play it usually. Usually your hidden players are a little bit less mechanical than your Nomad and Hard Rock players. And that's why we see Fuhi and Aricio playing this, because you need that just base skill to be able to play this map.
Yeah, not to mention the length on this requires that base skill for a lot longer than many of the other picks. So this definitely going to be a challenge. Fuhi with an early break out of the gate. Just the one though, not too big of a drop there, but it is going to give Chile a small lead out of the gate.
All right, come on, Fuhi, lock in.
I think all of these players need to lock in at this point.
Yeah. If anyone FCs this though, I swear, dude, it'd be one of the best scores. Because FCing this is like impossible almost.
Fuhi and Aricio trading misses. The two players we were kind of suspicious about, the two non-HD, or not non-HD players, but less frequent HD players for the two teams. Struggling a little bit, maybe as expected. Everyone else still holding on to the full combos, but we still have not hit the really difficult patterns of this map.
Yeah, I think the real surprising thing is that everybody else is still actually FCing, which is still pretty good, honestly, considering this map. I'd have expected more people to be struggling just like Fuhi and Aricio are on this.
It's definitely the type of the map to do that. Katsuragi and let you trading misses. We're starting to see the difficulty of this map show its colors, but Unlucky W and Fabian holding on, but Unlucky does find a break, and Fabian, the last full combo, the newcomer, for one of the newcomers for Chile, holding on and bringing a 77,000 point lead for Chile almost halfway through this map.
Yeah, and that last section is pretty much the reason why you put Aricio on this map. You see the amount of jumps that were in that core section, Aricio hits them all with no problem whatsoever. He's the highest combo in the lobby, even after struggling so much on the intro, and it's gone, but he did his job, he did the job.
Yeah, almost everyone trying to recover. Fuhi actually almost making it to that 200 combo after struggling a little bit, but does find another break. Unlucky and Katsuragi up to the combo maximum. Leche the only player on Chile. They need trying to match it as well. But this still looks like combo advantage for Chile as Fuhi continues to find some combo breaks in these difficult patterns. And Katsuragi finding another break as well. Just looking all Chile all day right now. We might be seeing another own.
This pattern is also really cool. I love this pattern. Does catch Unlucky W out on it, as well as Lechu. But I mean, Chile's done enough at this point to secure themselves this win. 200,000 point difference.
Yeah, no combo remaining on Canada as we see consistent breaks coming over there. That lead for Chile just continuing to increase as we get into this final section. really good scores from the Chilean players, and especially Damien, who missed the one time, but might be going on a 1 or 2 miss here.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, unfortunate for him. You just cursed him a little bit.
My bad.
Oh, you cursed him a lot. Look at that. That's messed up, but still, really solid score. I think we're going to be seeing 3 900s from Chile, potentially. If Mauricio gets over the little hurdle at the end.
Yeah, looks like that's a triple 900K on the hardest map in the pool for Chile. So, good own point. Getting it back to where they need it to be, within 1 point of Canada, striking distance, but it is Canada's pick. They do have the pick of the litter, though. Everything for Canada is basically a toss-up.
Yeah, I mean, you see every single player on Chile gapped the highest player of Canada on this map, which just goes to show, how hard this is. Teaming even says my best score. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. 2 miss on this is still really good. Like what you did, same scores.
Yeah, I think they just found 2 bigger drops, so kind of makes sense that the scores are like that. But still looking for the next pick from Canada. We've got 2 nomads open. I think avoiding nomad 4 is probably in the cards.
Go for it. Just tough.
It's so tough here because almost everything is just weird. Because the DTs don't necessarily favor Canada, and the picks that do in my head, favor Canada are toss-ups. Like Nomad 1 feels like it should favor Canada, but that map is easy enough that that could be a 6-way combo.
Yep. I mean, they probably go with the Nomad 1 here. Mod 2, actually. This one is tough.
It is tough.
You have Mauricio on Hard Rock and let you on Hidden. Let you just played Hidden. I mean, maybe since Mauricio just played Hidden, you might not be as good on the reading, but it's still really tough. Lechu is one of the best players when it comes to this kind of lower yard stuff.
We'll have to see if it works out. Lechu probably staying in. Mauricio likely going in on that Hard Rock, and then anyone can go in for Chile on the Nomad. This is a little bit difficult on Nomad too. It does have the lower AR, 8.3, not the easiest to read with that Nomad, especially with some of the difficult patterns in the dense section start coming in. We see Solaris also coming in for Canada. Pekarat, oh, never mind. They were in for a second, but Red gonna be the hidden player, looks like.
Yeah, this time Mauricio says, it's okay, I don't need a spot from Hidden to Hard Rock. I have teammates. Chile is no longer the 3-man core roster that it used to be, as well as Elden. No Elden this year. This year, Stark and Smucker definitely stepping up, as well as Taming, so they actually have players who can step in, fill in slots. They don't need to rely heavily on a core 3, which is, it's so huge to be able to have people be able to step in and out.
Indeed, this is actually the same squad on the Canadian side that we saw in Mixed Mod 1, where Katsuragi actually ended up taking the hit and Red was on Nomad for the low AR, which could happen. I could definitely see that still happening.
If they're lined up, it's going to happen again. Lechu is definitely playing Hidden, so I assume Katsuragi is going to be Hidden if they're all symmetrical.
Yeah, they are. So Red is going to take Nomad, Solaris as expected on Hard Rock, Smucker with Hard Rock, Stark on Nomad for Chile, Lechu and Katsuragi taking the Hidden for their respective teams. And this is almost exactly what we saw for Mixed Mod 1. I don't know if Lechu actually played Mixed Mod 1, though.
I don't think so. I'm not too sure, honestly. I don't remember. It's been a hot minute.
Certainly has been a hot minute since the first pick of the match, but no one finding any major issues. Red does find an early drop, though, about 10 combo in, but it's not going to be as impactful as misses that are starting to come now. That's a double miss from Canada, traded only once by Lechu, though.
That triplet is so evil, by the way. AFB, you are completely evil for that triplet. I'm just going to put that out there.
And the most difficult part of the map coming in, everyone finding a little bit of footing, trying to build back up to that 200 combo to join Stark, Smoker, and Solaris with the full combos. But Red, unable to do so, the low air catching a little bit off guard, and that lead for Chile expanding extremely quickly, already above 100,000, and we're already into maybe a free section. And I mean, max combo here is 660, and the next 100, 150 combo is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, the second half of this map is just so easy compared to the first half. That if you're actually finding misses on the second half compared to the first half, it's going to be quite surprising, honestly. Because usually, especially starting right about here, there's not much to miss on.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a tricky pattern, like at the very ending, but misses with this kind of lead that Chile has, misses in that section are not going to matter as long as they hold on to the consistency here. It's going to be another break point, and we're going to be all tied up here.
Yeah, Solaris breaking the full combo, so it is only going to be the two Chileans, Stark and Smucker, with the full combos for this map, sadly. Assuming they hit the ending. They did, so 200,000 point lead. Only a singular miss from Lechu in the intro.
And that's also a double S from Smucker there, so
yeah,
really strong performance there from the Chilean roster. And taking that breakpoint back to their own pick. We got 2 DTs left, we've got Hidden 3, and we got 2 Nomads left in the pool.
Yeah, and it's looking like we're probably going to have to get into the double time, which is going to be very interesting. I want to see which team is going to pick it. Each team has 1 pick left guaranteed.
Yeah.
First one to pick is going to be Chile. Coming off of this map win.
I would expect to see DT from Chile, or maybe Nomad 4. I would almost like, if Canada is going into a tiebreaker, I think it'd be funny if they ended up going with a DT2 type selection, but...
Dude, I would love it.
It looks like Chile's going to use their timeout, give themselves a little time to breathe and make a good selection here.
The thing is that is really worrying for Chile here is Canada, in my opinion, has a pretty huge advantage on the tiebreaker compared to Chile. Where usually when you see 2 teams get to this point, you don't think there's going to be a huge advantage for either team on the tiebreaker, but Canada especially, they have such huge juggernaut tiebreaker players. Unlucky W, Solaris, and Fuhi going into a tiebreaker, it's going to be really tough for Chile. Like we said, Chile's weakness is on the Nomad, but usually these maps aren't too hard to be able to capitalize. Well, the tiebreaker, yeah, it's not hard.
Yeah. Like, we're talking about Nomad 1 being a bit of a tricky selection for even Canada, who's so strong at it, but the tiebreaker is such a different beast from that like, if that was a regular selection in the pool, it would have already come. It would probably be first.
Oh yeah, I think Canada pick it and they win it if it was in the pool already.
But that's not to say that Chile doesn't have a good roster for something like that. It's definitely more of Canada's strength with, Canada having such a good, like, Nomad 1 score in qualifiers and continuing to show their consistency. But we did see Chile manage to take that breakpoint on Trip Coffee, and that has some really tough patterns that there's going to be more akin to what we see in the tiebreaker than Nomad 1.
That is definitely true indeed. For this pick, though, I really don't know what Chile is going to go for. They can really do anything except for the Nomad 1, I think. Like, anything is kind of okay. I don't think they should go for the Hidden 3.
I would avoid Hidden as well, but yeah, either of the DTs and Nomad 2 or Nomad 4 being open. I expect the choices between Nomad 4 and DT 3. I don't think I pick. I mean, it feels like a meme, but Canada does have a history of performing well on DT2, so maybe just avoid that if you're going for a DT pick.
Honestly, I want them to avoid it just so that if Canada wins this, they can actually go pick DT2 for the win. That'd be pretty great. That would make my day.
Would be pretty silly, but in a high stakes situation like this, I don't know what the trust is. I don't know what the trust level is in in a meme like that.
Oh, trust me, if there's any team that would be completely down for it, it's Canada. I can see them being like, yo guys, we're up 5-4, it's our pick.
Up 5-4, high stakes, winner's bracket life on the line.
It's like, we gotta pick DT2. I really hope they're listening.
And Nomad 4 comes out, so getting that third Nomad out of the way, looking at the convert here, we mentioned Chile having a little bit stronger of a convert squad than Canada, but I mean, we've seen some weird stuff happening. Both of the other Nomads were breakpoints, so anything can happen at this point. And definitely, as far as, converts go, certainly not something Canada can't handle, especially with the jumpy nature of this.
The real question for me is whether Fuhi will be playing this or not. I think it's going to be Katsuragi, Unlucky W, and Solaris. But Fuhi definitely can play this. It's just who do they feel most confident in being able to play this right now.
Yeah, not to mention that these players have been kind of just sitting here waiting for the selection to come in. We had that timeout, so that was a 4-minute break. And definitely need to make something happen to try and make sure their eyes are still all right. Katsuragi sitting in the lobby at the moment, waiting for the last two players on Canada, but it looks like Chile's team, Swicker, Stark, and Mauricio, gonna hold on for the conference selection.
Does seem like we are getting Chile's roster in there. Mauricio, Smucker, and Stark. No surprises, at least on that side. Still waiting to see Canada's full roster on this pick. You see Fuhi coming in. Got to be joined by Unlucky, I'm assuming.
Waiting for one more. Solaris looks like going to be the last player from Katsuragi, asking for them to be moved. Just waiting for that last player. Solaris joined, and it looks like it's going to be Katsuragi, Solaris, and Fuhi in for Canada here on the convert. Mauricio, Spooker, and Stark for Chile. They're looking for an opportunity to get to match point here. Whoever wins gets match point. But we're going to see the maximum number of regular maps in this pool one way or another. Each of these teams gets a pick.
And the thing is, I'm really surprised Unlucky W is not playing this. In my opinion, Unlucky W has been their most consistent convert player for like past, I don't even know how long, but it's been a long time where I always think convert Unlucky W is going to do really well on it. But this time, it seems like they're going to be going with a little bit of a different roster Canada is, which means they must have pretty much absolute faith in the current three that are on there.
Indeed, and Unlucky W has been playing the converts, though this is a much different style from the convert from last week. Last week, much more stream-oriented. This one, more heavy on the jumps and really tight windows on some of them.
And I mean, the thing is, if you think about the team's convert skill sets, you think Chile, they're a jump convert team. Think Canada, they're a stream convert team. So a bit lucky, I'd say, for Chile to actually get a jump convert in this pool. I mean, they're definitely better on jumps than the streamy converts. So I mean, Canada loses, you know who to blame. The Canadian Matt Blue who made this happen. Diddy Gunner, I love you.
Yeah, already seeing a Canadian miss. Solaris with an early drop there. No one else dropping in that difficult jump section out the gate. So Chile going to take a small lead as the combos start to build up to 200.
Yeah, not surprising to see at least one early miss on this one. Jumps pretty much everywhere. You can miss literally anything on this map.
Yeah, so large jumps even in these breaks, well, breaks, quote unquote, but gonna be really watching out for the transitions and that chorus. Katsuragi actually finding a break there, so more advantage to Chile, only one full combo remaining, and it's just Fuhi for Canada, as all three of the Chilean players are still holding on to double S.
Yeah, two more misses from both Katsuragi and Fuhi, and I mean, this is already looking like an amazing pick from Chile, up 100,000 points.
This is very long, though. This does trade one of those misses back, though it does miss at the same time as Katsuragi, so it's not going to be too impactful for Chile, but that is something that's needed for Canada to start bringing it back. Solaris did recover very well, up to about 500 combo. Fuhi just about up to the 200 as well, but the lead's still growing in favor of Chile with that combo advantage. is now stagnant between both sides as everyone hits the maximum combo. Still looking at 2 double S's for Chile. No one dropping on that transition, but we're still seeing some more large jumps that no one is really having any issues with now. It looks like everyone's starting to recover and keep themselves strong on these larger jump patterns.
One miss from Clark.
Ooh, that's a big miss. Chile finding another drop in that lead tree in just a little bit. It looks like maybe 2.5 drops away for Canada. So still, with about a minute and 10 seconds left in this. But Katsuragi does find a drop, and that's going to help stem the bleeding a little bit for Chile and keep them in the lead here.
Yeah, there's really not much map left. There is a small little break here, so Chile does know they're up about 85,000 points. They need a pretty much team wipe for Canada to have a chance at coming back in this one.
Definitely do, but this ending course still does have some very difficult jumps. It's not unheard of, and that's double miss from Chile out of the gate. Smooker still holding into a double S. That's going to be huge. It's shrinking extremely quickly. It's probably only 1.5 misses away. And that's another miss from Arisa, but it is traded. So Chile's going to hold on just a little bit. But Smooker drops! Fui drops as well. Just
they're all gone.
Combo on the page. Katsuragi holding on. And the lead is shrinking.
It might swap over. It's going to get really close. Tell me this is the final seconds of the map. It's not going to be enough. It's not enough.
Oh my goodness. Katsuragi almost coming back for Canada. It's only a 6,000 point lead, but that's going to be match point for Chile.
Oh, that was almost heartbreak for Chile. In the lead for pretty much the whole map. Up 80,000 points. You just missed like 4 times at the end. It was almost Canada's break point going into the final point, but now they have to win their pick and then the tiebreaker. So this last pick is pretty much everything for Canada. They can pick between Nomad 1, Hidden 3,
Nomad
DT 2, and DT 3.
Yes, those are the 4 picks remaining, and none of them are comfortable for Canada.
Yeah. If you go Nomad 1, it's probably the most comfortable one, but you're just tossing your whole pretty much CWC future winner bracket run in the point. It is like so scary.
Not the best place to go. I think DT3's off the table. I don't think Canada wants to pick that against Chile.
Neither of these teams want to pick DT, which is honestly so sad. I think both of these teams' DT rosters are so fun to watch.
I think at a certain level, it's a decision between DT2 and Hidden 3 for Canada.
Yeah. It's really tough. Any of these maps could be it. DT3, Hidden 3, maybe that's the play, but
yeah,
Hidden 3rd, it's going to be tough for Canada.
Hidden 3's a tough decision to make, I think, after having lost Hidden 1 by as much as they did. Though, that was also harsh. I think part of that was they ended up having to put in their fundamentals and high skill players in because of how difficult that map is. So, a player like Fui, who's not necessarily going to be as comfortable on Hidden as someone like Red, stepping in on that is not going to be maybe as strong of a roster as Canada would be able to put up on something like 3. So I think there's a little bit more comfort when it comes there when they can have the players like Red in on that. But it's still, Chile did win the hidden map in the pool, and going for something that has a big technical basis, that, a lot of technical requirements, similar to what we saw in Nomad 2 with Chile 1, it's just a difficult decision to make.
Pick DT2. I'm begging for the DT2. Canada DT2. Henrik, I know you're in here. Get in the call right now. Tell them to pick DT2. They need to.
They need to.
It's absolutely necessary.
Canada about to throw up 3 million team score on DT2 if they pick it. Yeah, also potentially worth noting, this was 4 points in a row by Chile. They are on a 4-point run right now. It was 4-1 in favor of Canada. and now Chile is 1 point away from winning this match. So they put in the work to get back to this position. Plus, the momentum is huge. Canada is not in a great position right now. Oh, DT3! What? I'm very surprised about
DT2?
this. Not DT2.
Oh,
They're going for... This is like a minute and a half long. This is very short.
It's definitely in the realm of both of these teams to be able to do really good scores on this. Canada having the Canadian mapper buff, the Yoshi buff, but Chile just so good on this DT. Canada when not DT2, I agree. Is it going to be Canada when DT3? Is that going to be the new thing?
They avoided DT2, so 3 maps getting ignored here. Nomad 1, not a surprise. Hidden 3, maybe a surprise. And then DT2 kind of just... the DT pool being avoided in general by both of these teams.
The real question that I have is, will Dex Machine, aka known as Ymir, aka Caitlyn, aka Fee, there's so many names, will they step into this lobby to play the DT? They're known as a very competent DT players, you could say, and definitely one of the best Canadian DT players, except Canada has such a good DT roster, especially on something like this. They could put in Fuhi, they could put in Solaris, they could put in Unlucky W, they could put in Katsuragi, they can put in literally anyone on this and they'd be fine.
Yeah, they did. Deus Machina did play the DTs for the qualifiers, and this is much closer to qualifier difficulty than any other pool has been. So I could definitely see that being the case, but it looks like it's not. We're going to see Unlucky W, Fui, and Solaris in for the DT squad on Canada and Chile, going with Aricio, Smooker, and Stark. Not surprising to see that squad coming through.
This is definitely the Chilean squad that you expect, and honestly, probably the Canadian squad that you would expect on something like this, being a little bit lower AR for this map. And regardless of the outcome of this pick, this has been definitely a match worth watching.
Yeah, and especially exciting that this is a winner's bracket match, so neither of these two teams are going to be eliminated. It's just about who's making it through to the winner's side semifinals. So regardless of who takes this, we're gonna get treated by these two teams for a little while longer in this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. So we are getting started here. First DT map of the pool, and it is gonna be the most important map of the whole match. And don't blink, this one's over in just under 2 minutes, so any miss is going to be a big miss. Fuhi being the first one under 200 combo, not as big as any other misses past 200 combo though. That one's a little bit more. Yeah,
it's going to be a little more impactful, like you said, not too much because these players got to 200 quickly. Smooker finding a drop, trade by Fuhi. That's still going to favor Canada. They're 2 combos to just 1, but Stark already almost at back to 200 combo, and it's looking like Chile might hold on to a tiny bit of a lead, but Stark is going to miss again, and Canada's holding on to a little bit better of a lead now, already a third of the way through this.
Smucker missing again as well, Stark as well again. It's not looking good for Chile. Fui's the only one on Canada who's breaking, but he is breaking pretty consistently. Unlucky W drops the full combo though.
Solaris and Aricio, the top, both players with a double S, and the other player's trying to build it up. Looks like Chile actually has a little bit of a combo advantage right now, so going to cut into that lead a little bit as we have one more long stream section. But Fui, that's the miss. Chile can take it. And Solaris misses. That's huge. Chile's going to take it. One last stream here. If Aricio holds, I think that might be enough.
Yeah, I mean, they need at least 2 misses. There's one miss from Stark. One more miss is what's going to be in for it to swap over to Canada in these final seconds. But Fui's miss is not going to be any good.
I think this will be it. And there's Unlucky W, and that's going to finish it, I think.
Yeah. Chile taking the breakpoint, making a 5-0 run towards the end of the map. They were down 4-1, and they win 5 points in a row. They take this last breakpoint off the back of Aricio's SS. Aricio, one of the best DT players in the game, and he pretty much showed it with this one. Chile winning 6-4 over Canada. They move on in the winners bracket. Canada moves down to the losers bracket, but Chile super well played for them. That's the second seed upset as well in the winner bracket we've had this week. 2 out of 2.
Wow. 2 out of 2. We got 2 matches left in the winners bracket. We'll have to see. Your match is one of those, so you gotta hope this pattern doesn't continue.
Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, Chile, they will be playing against the winner of the United States and Russia match as well next week, so it's going to be another match to watch. But yeah, taking this one home for Chile. Must be very excited about that one.
Yeah, very impressive performance. Like we mentioned, from 4-1 to a 4-6 for Chile, taking that 5-0 run, and also moving on in the winners bracket. Canada, not eliminated from the tournament, just going to move down to the losers bracket, where I'm expecting quite the run.
Oh yeah, they're going to be definitely one of the teams that can look forward to making a podium appearance from the losers bracket. But the thing is, you have Canada and Poland in the losers bracket. Only one of those teams can podium now. That's spicy already.
It's a scary time for the Catch World Cup. It's not looking. It's looking like a lot of predictions are starting to get ruined. In a word.
It's going to be definitely something to watch for, but that is going to be it for us here today. Next matches are going to be tomorrow, 13 hours from now, at 11 UTC is going to be China versus Australia. Losers bracket matchup. One of those two teams moves on to next week. One of them, sadly, will be eliminated, and they haven't played yet this week. Both of their matches ended in forfeits, so we get to see them for the first time this week on the round of 8 map pool.
Indeed, it's going to be an exciting time, but like you said, we got 13 hours of break. But before we go, we got to chill. Go to the OSU store, get your banners, support the teams. They're $2.50 USD. You can support as many teams as you want. You could get 32 tags if you really wanted. I heard someone got like 39.
Oh no! That's, if you heard 39, add up 100 to that number, and you got a more accurate number. Yeah.
Go be like the guy who had 139 profile banners for the team and support the tournament. Get your banners. You got 13 hours to do it before the next match.
Yeah. Anyways, that is going to do it from us. I am Sigurd. I have been joined by Tope Daddy for this cast. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.